The video short you see in the slide shows a portion of a small, unprotected forest fragment. It happens to be my neighborhood. I live in a small country subdivision on the edge of this unprotected forest fragment. When I saw forest fragments as one of the conservation issues to be discussed, my interest was piqued. This was something I could really relate to. The paper I would like to discuss today is Conservation of Birds in Fragmented Landscapes Requires Protected Areas. The head author is Robert Timmers, along with other contributors. Robert Timmers is a PhD candidate who has done a lot of work in forest ecology, forest fragments, and connecting forest fragments. The central question of this study is, how do forest fragment size and protection status interact to influence bird species occurrence in tropical and subtropical forest? The researchers wanted to understand whether protecting a forest fragment could help offset the negative effects of its small size. In other words, they ask, does protection make a difference in small fragments? Is protection more effective in larger fragments? These are important questions, especially for places like the forest near my home, which is small and unprotected. To answer their research question, the team compiled a massive data set. They analyzed 741 forest fragments and nearly 1,900 bird species. To analyze the data, they used a generalized linear mixed effects model. This allowed them to examine how two main factors, fragment size and protection status, influenced the probability of bird occurrence. First, they categorized each fragment by its protection status, strict, moderate, or unprotected. The researchers found that bird occurrence increased more in forest fragments that were moderately or strictly protected compared to those with no protection at all, and that bird occurrence was correlated to fragment size no matter what the protection. What is interesting to me is the difference between all birds and birds that are considered threatened. We can see that both fragment size and protection status are important in predicting bird occurrence, but the effect is even more pronounced for threatened species. The better they are protected, the more of them there are. The researchers also considered how different types of birds, called avian feeding guilds, respond to forest fragmentation and protection. Let's start with insectivores. These are forest interior birds that feed on insects in the understory. They are the most sensitive to habitat loss and fragmentation. In small or unprotected fragments, they decline rapidly due to the loss of dense vegetation. Frugivores, which rely on fruit from canopy trees, are also highly sensitive. They benefit significantly from strict protection, which helps preserve the mature trees they depend on. Granivores, like finches and sparrows, are less sensitive. They tend to be more adaptable and can persist in a wider range of conditions. Omnivores, birds that eat a variety of foods, are moderately tolerant of fragmentation. And finally, carnivores are predatory birds. They're harder to study because there is less information about them. To wrap it up, the authors came to two conclusions. One, bird occurrences decline with smaller fragments. And two, protection can be an effective strategy for preserving diversity in fragmented forests.